Welcome back for another episode of the Even Your Dynasty Show. Today's episode is the minor league update from May 13th through May 19th. We're also going to talk a little bit about the Giants' sweep of the Colorado Rockies, where they stand, where the club kind of looks to go for moving forward. So we're going to start off talking about that. Then we'll kick it into our minor league update. We're going to have a few changes on this episode for the update because, well, so many of the Giants players are in San Francisco. So you're going to notice it's a lot shorter list. So I'm going to touch on some of the guys that are up on the big league club, how they're doing, since there are so many prospects up, which I had been leaving them off in the past. And then we'll, kick it in for the actual minor league affiliates and how some of those guys are doing. Had some injury updates as well with a few players down there. So you're going to want to, hear a lot of that. Starting off with the big league club, they're coming off a nice series sweep of the Rockies. Offense exploded the first two games, scoring a combined 24 runs. Bob Melvin employed some kind of interesting lineups, putting guys like Jorge Soler in the leadoff spot, which I mean I'm not overly fond of, but it's really hard to argue the results when they hang 24 runs in those two games. Still scored 4 in the finale. Some big moments from a lot of the young players. Luis Matos with 11 RBIs in 2 games. When anytime you join a list with like guys like Joe DiMaggio and Johnny Bench, I mean, you're doing something pretty spectacular. So pretty awesome to see him. Elliot Ramos continues to hit the ball hard, hit his first home run of the season in the finale against the Rockies. Um, Marco Luciano produced a really solid week, went 4 for 12 with 2 walks, a couple doubles, some pretty impressive swings, had a lot of impressive swing decisions. I saw yet earlier today that he was like swung at 9 of the 10 pitches in the zone, only chased 1 pitch out of the zone in the series against the Rockies. So, I mean, that's a phenomenal series. And, if he can keep it up, I mean, guys like Nick Ahmed's going to be getting moved to the bench. And, if guys like Ramos and Matos keep it up, you're going to be looking at guys like Austin Slater potentially getting moved. And maybe a guy like Yaz gets pushed into a fourth outfielder role when Conforto comes back, which is saying something because Mike Yastrzemski's playing some really good ball too right now, but my personal opinion is he's better suited for the fourth outfielder spot. You could still distribute playing time to where he's not just like sitting on the bench every day. I personally feel like there are ways for Melvin to navigate that, but that's what he's going to have to figure out. I did see Baggerly mention today that Slater and Ahmed are getting close to coming back, and they could get slated in their previous roles. Um, I think I speak for on behalf of the majority of the Giants fan base when I say if you want to lose your fan base, go ahead and give those guys their roles back because quite frankly, Austin Slater, or not even, this isn't even really about Slater. Anything that takes playing time away from Elliot Ramos, Luis Matos, and Marco Luciano right now would be just a travesty. I mean, those guys are your present, they're your future. Those are guys you should build around. Those are guys you should be doing everything you can to support them, prop them up, help them play their best and play every day and develop because it's not just vital to trying to win this season. It's also important for the, future of this club. Regardless, I mean, we all want to see them make the playoffs. But if those three can establish themselves as, legitimate major leaguers, maybe they push towards being like, you feel like you have some stars in development there or blossoming and however you want to look at it. But the point is if those three develop and blossom before your eyes, you're going to go into 2025 thinking we have a core of Marco Luciano, Luis Matos, Elliot Ramos, Patrick Bailey, Jung-Hoo Lee, just of your position group. All of those guys would be 26 and younger. And then you have your rotation, you'll have Webb, Harrison, and a bunch of other young pitchers on the way. That is a team you build around. That is a team that you feel great going into the future. You feel like we do some good things. We're going to be a contender year in and year out. You know what? If you dump one of these guys back to sack or multiple of these guys back to sack, just to go play Austin Slater. I mean, that is like the most idiotic thing you can do. And you are going to lose so and just piss off so much of the fan base by doing that because this, I don't think this is hyperbole when I say this has been the most exciting baseball the Giants have played since the end of the 2021 season. We have watched a revolving door of veterans, a revolving door of mediocre players, a revolving door of uninspiring, not exciting, boring players roll through the doors. And they finally give you three exciting guys in a lineup at the same time. The guys show up, produce, do their jobs, spark the team, get a bunch of things, going in the right direction. It's exciting the fan base. And if you even move one of these guys, like, I'm sorry, to me, that is a fireable offense on the spot. Not You don't get the rest of the season. You just butchered your season. That's my opinion. I'm sure there's going to be people that are not a fan of that, but that's how I feel about the whole thing. But there's a lot more than just those three guys doing well. We have news that Bailey is going to be hopefully back in the coming days. His concussion evaluation went well. You also have guys like Sean Jelly. I'm gonna probably do a video about him. He deserves it. I mean, that's a guy I said they should DFA like weeks ago, and I am so glad to be wrong. He looks amazing right now, and he has been earning his opportunity into high leverage situations. He's been phenomenal. Um, so he's been great. Obviously, Ryan Walker has been good. He's in his second year. He's doing really well. Logan Webb spun a gem against LA his last time out. Hicks had another nice start. Kyle Harrison grinded through 5 innings when he said he's like, I just tried to pound the strike zone because they were scoring a bunch of runs, and then all of a sudden he gave up three. Had to start getting a little more careful before the bats ended up breaking out for extra in the back end of the game. But just there's so many good things. Blake Snell's going to return on Tuesday. So fingers crossed he starts looking like himself again. He's made a couple rehab starts. He threw like five perfect innings in San Jose, and then he threw like 5 no-hit innings in Sacramento his last start. So I mean, obviously they ain't touching him in the minors, but that doesn't really mean much coming back. But he was throwing a lot more strikes. I watched those starts, and he's pounding the zone, and his stuff looked way sharper than it did to start the season with San Francisco. So hopefully that carries over for him. But there's a lot of things to get excited about as a Giants fan right now with the kids playing. Hopefully they keep doing what they're doing. And they just force Farhan's hand on this one. So that's my hopes. After this kind of crappy start to the season, you look down at the standings and the Giants are 1 game out of the third wild card spot right now. The National League is not good. They're still just hanging right there. I'm not too concerned about the standings. Obviously, it's just kind of to put it in perspective. So keep rolling. Let's see if they can win a couple series here on the road, going against Pittsburgh and then the Mets. Although I think we might face Paul Skeens, so that's going to be exciting to watch. Though I'm not feeling great about this with how often this team strikes out. So. We'll kind of see. But I think if they can find a way to go 4-2 on this road trip and come back home at 500, that'd be so much good momentum and good mojo going for this club. So now we're going to move on over to the minor league update. Before I do that, as always, if you guys like this content, like the video, subscribe to the channel. As I said before, we are going to do live shows starting when we hit 500 subscribers. Dan and I will do those on Thursdays. Times may vary depending on kind of how my schedule is looking and his schedule. Right now, we kind of record those in the early afternoon. That may end up being kind of like morning recordings starting in a couple weeks. But, I look forward to doing those. We're at like 483. So smash that subscribe button if you're not already and you enjoy these videos. And also, I'll be hopping over with Dan and Eric as I do every Wednesday on NorCal Sports Network. So also catch me over there on their channel. Make sure you subscribe to their channel as well. All right, so starting off with the AAA affiliate Sacramento River Cats, they bounced back, went 4-2 versus Oklahoma City, who is the Dodgers affiliate. That is twice they played the Dodgers affiliate. I believe they went 4-2 both times. So it's good to see. I mean, at least we can beat their AAA club, so that's a nice sight. Now, granted, we also did it while most of the guys that have been in AAA are actually up on the big league club right now. Um, so starting off with their number 2 prospect, Carson Whisenhunt, 5 innings pitched, 1 earned run, 4 hits, a walk, 6 strikeouts. Through 74 pitches, 53 were for strikes. Um, that was easily the sharpest outing of the season for him. He actually used his fastball as his put away pitch quite a bit in that game. Really played well off his changeup. You could tell he kind of went against the scouting report and threw a lot of fastballs when guys were probably expecting changeups, and guys were late. And he was throwing it hard on their hands, especially righties. So good. It was a good outing from him. It was really good to see him kind of pitch backwards a little bit in that game. Number 8 prospect, Reggie Crawford. He came into 2 games, 2.1 innings pitched, 1 earned run, 1 hit, 3 walks, a hit by pitch, and a K. With Reggie Crawford, you're probably going to see a lot of adjustment. I liked that they were aggressive to move him up to AAA. I think it's a good challenge for him. He was throwing fastballs right by people in AA. Regardless of if you look at the numbers, like, he wasn't being challenged. His biggest challenge was throwing strikes, but he needs to be somewhere where if he's not throwing strikes, he's going to get punished. And AAA with the tighter zones, automatic balls and strikes, challenge system, whatever, they have they kind of go back and forth on those. He's going to get challenged a lot more. It's a tighter zone, better hitters. So it's going to help with his growth and his development, in my personal opinion. So like to see that. And as expected, he struggled a little bit with the command. It's still possible that he ends up on the big league club at some point as a reliever this year. They seem to be initially developing him as a reliever. They actually touched on this where he just hasn't thrown a lot of innings, so he can't just get stretched out. So it sounds like the plan is to develop him as a reliever now and stretch him out later. Maybe not like Jordan Hicks, where Hicks was a reliever for like 5 or 6 years, but similar, be a reliever, then stretch out down the road as a starter. Number 11 prospect, Landon Roop, 4 innings pitched, 2 hits, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts through 67 pitches, only threw 33 for strikes, but somehow was limiting the damage. He was getting some quick outs, and he would grind through some at bats, and his curveball still just freezes guys and is ridiculous. Um, I've said before, he reminds me a lot of Ryan Vogelsong. I'm going to stick with that. 67 pitches was his high for the pitch count for the season. They are slowly stretching him. Keep in mind, this is a guy that came off a back injury last year, so they are babying him a little bit. I do think they're going to slowly just continue to build up his pitch count. But, he's coming off that back injury, and they developed him as a reliever at the beginning of spring and everything. So he's going to be a little slower to lengthen out a little bit. But he did get through 4 innings, 4 clean innings. So, and I don't know if I said no earned runs, but he did give up no earned runs in that game. Number 17 prospect, Carson Seymour. He actually pitched in 2 games, the first and last game of the series. 5 innings pitched, 1 earned run, 3 hits, 2 walks, and 7 strikeouts in the first outing. 5 innings pitched, 1 earned run, 4 hits, 3 walks, and 3 strikeouts in the second outing. Through 73 pitches, 49 for strikes in the first, 77 and 40 for strikes in the second. The first outing was actually the sharpest he has looked all season to me. Fastball, curveball played really well, got a lot of swing and misses, and he was around the zone like the entire outing. He did have the 2 walks, but he's had a lot of struggles with his command early in the season, and these were 2 straight outings where he's looked pretty good. So he's righting the ship a little bit, which has been really nice to see. Number 22 prospect, Kaiwei Tang, continues to struggle mightily. 3.1 innings, 2 earned runs, 3 hits, 4 walks. Can't throw strikes. His stuff is not as good as it was last season. Hasn't been as sharp. He's getting knocked around. Sad to say, but he's probably a DFA candidate in the not too distant future. Still don't think they're going to overreact in May and do it right now, but he is trending that direction. Casey Schmidt returned from the big league club, got optioned back down to Sacramento. before, when Marco Luciano took over at shortstop. He's 2 for 8, home run, walk, and a strikeout. So quiet week in San Francisco for sure. And then he went down and he had a pair of 1 for 4 games and a home run in one of those games. Juan Sanchez pitched in 2 games, 1.1 innings pitched, 1 earned run, no hits, 5 walks, 2 strikeouts. For a guy that was so dominant and was getting, he had like a .77 whip through and a .7 ERA through his first like 11 outings. He has been really struggling to find the zone for about the last couple, the last few weeks or so. Um, Now kind of one of the stars, one of the 2 big stars of uh, of the entire minor league system for the Giants. It was Hunter Bishop, who probably is player of the week. I mean, him and Bryce Eldridge have a both like the co-players of the week in the system. But Hunter Bishop gets called up to AAA. A lot of arguments that he didn't really earn the call up. He was doing okay in AA, nothing special, but he kind of got called up out of necessity. And all he's done since getting to Sacramento is absolutely rake and blister the ball. He went 10 for 22, 2 home runs, 2 doubles, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts, and 2 stolen bases. Played really good center field, showed off his speed. One of the home runs was an inside the Parker the left fielder dove, the ball got by him, but I mean, it wasn't even close. Hunter Bishop can scoot, and he ripped around the bag. So he's showing off the speed. We all know he has the tools. He's got huge power. He has blazing speed. He's got big time range, a great arm. The only question for him is he going to be able to make enough contact? But I love his swing. He's got a pretty flat swing through the zone, really fast bat. The home run that he hit actually out of the park, the not inside the park home run, um, that ball was off the inside of the plate, and he stayed inside it and hit it a long ways, and it wasn't even like hooking towards the line, like it was well fair. Um, he's got some incredible bat speed. Now he's 25 years old. He's obviously lost basically 2 seasons, one to injury last year with Tommy John, and then one from COVID. And it's probably stunted his growth a little bit. He's going to turn 26 towards the end of June. But this is a guy that like might be putting it together, and that'd be awesome if he is, because he has all the tools. Like they are all there, and he could be really a really pretty special player, even though he is going to be 26 years old. So it's really fun to seeing a lot of good things from him. I hope it's sustainable because I mean, with all the stuff he's gone through, I can't help but root for the guy. This isn't just like, oh, he's a former first round pick, I want to see him do well. Like the guy's gone through a lot in his life, and with all the injuries and stuff, I just always wanted to see him healthy and be like, what happens if he gets healthy, and what can he put it together? Can we just see what he can do? And he's shown it off in a big way. So kudos to Hunter Bishop. Really awesome to see. I hope he keeps it up. Hope he makes a push for maybe the 2025 San Francisco Giants club. Double A, moving on to Double A, Richmond Flying Squirrels. They bounced back, had a 5-1 week versus Reading. Starting off with their number 6 prospect, Hayden Birdsong, 5 innings pitched. He gave up no earned runs. They did score an unearned run in the game. 4 hits, 3 walks, 5K through 86 pitches, 51 for strikes. As I've said kind of many times regarding him, 3-pitch guy, 3 good pitches, or great pitches. Curveball continues to baffle these guys. Fastball's still alive. The splitter is a work in progress, but I still think it can be his best pitch. So, we'll kind of see how his development goes. Moving on to their number 13 prospect, Grant McCray. He is finally starting to heat up. Did this last year, had a really slow March and April, and then blistered the ball in May. But he went 6 for 15, a home run, 2 doubles, 4 walks, and 3 Ks, and he had 2 stolen bases. So maybe he'll start swiping some bags again. This is a guy that had 52 stolen bases last season, has 70 grade speed, and for some reason just has not been running. Yes, some of that has to do with him not getting on base, but I kind of wonder if he's been dealing with some kind of lower body, minor lower body injury that slowed him down. Uh, it's hard to know. Number 15 prospect Von Brown, 1 for 11, a double, a stolen base, and 6 Ks. Continues to struggle a lot. He's old for the level. I have questions on him. What his future might hold, but certainly is toolsy. Things could change if he figures it out. Number 19 prospect Victor Barracoto continues to struggle to find all the success he had from last season. 3 for 17, 2 walks, 6 Ks. Pretty quiet week from him as well. Number 23 prospect Adrian Sugiste, 7 for 19, a double and 3 strikeouts. Still hits the ball. He's kind of a pure hitter. Doesn't have a ton of power. Only has 1 home run on the year. He only had I think 6 last season. But he plays really solid defense behind the plate. Could be a long-term backup in the league, but we'll see how he continues to develop. He is showing some nice things with the bat. Number 26 prospect Jairo Pomares. He's still kind of, you can tell his timing's still a little bit off. He's still struggling to get going since his coming back from the injury, but he went 3 for 17, a home run, a triple, and a double, 3 walks, and then 5 strikeouts. He has 4 extra base hits in 5 hits this season. So when he hits it hard. Number 30 prospect Carson Ragsdale, 5 innings pitched, no earned runs, 3 hits, no walks, and 9 strikeouts through 86 pitches, 58 for strikes. He's been really solid in his outings, and he's having a really good year. He just graduated up to their top 30 prospects recently, so we got him added onto the list here. He's got a 3.5 ERA right now in Double-A, and 25 years old, so potential to maybe be called up to Triple-A at some point, either late this year or going into next season. Moving on to the Eugene Emeralds, they were the one team with a losing record in the system, 2-4 at Everett. They are 21-17 on the season. Number 18 prospect Diego Velasquez, 3 for 19, a home run, double, 4 walks, 2 Ks, and 3 stolen bases. One of his worst weeks since being in High A. His average is down to, I believe, 276, but still a lot of talent, still can swing it. Just, has cooled off a little bit with the bat. Number 24 prospect O'Neal Perez continues to swing the bat well. 4 for 12, a double, 2 strikeouts, and 2 stolen bases. He's been kind of playing every other day, though. I'd like to see a little more consistent playing time for him, but, I'm assuming that the Giants have some sort of plan for him, although you never know with Farhan. They kind of do some weird things sometimes. Quinn McDaniel, he had his worst week of of High A so far. 3 for 20, 2 doubles, 2 walks, 13 strikeouts. He does have some swing and miss. I felt like he probably was deserving of a call up recently. This hasn't really changed my mind. I still think he's a bit old he's 21, so he's not old for the level, but I think his overall, body of work at High A, I still think he's ready to move up, but that was certainly a really rough week for him. But it happens to every guy. San Jose Giants moved to went 5-1 at Modesto, 21-17 on the season. Number 3 prospect Bryce Eldridge. If it wasn't for Hunter Bishop, he would 100% be the player of the week for the Giants system. He has been absolutely crushing it for about the last 2 weeks now. Went 7 for 23 with 3 home runs, a double that was hit like a foot from the top of the fence. It was 111 mile per hour rocket off the bat, and then 3 walks and 8 strikeouts. So there is still some swing and miss for him. It's not unreasonable, but it is a little more than you'd like. His strikeout rate's still around 25%, which I think for him, if he can keep it to 25-ish% at each level, I'll feel pretty good about that. But the big thing is the power showing. He hit a home run to left, a couple to right center. That ball that he hit off the right field fence, very tall fence. The thing didn't get more than 10, 15 feet off the ground the entire way, and it hit the top of the fence. Absolute rocket. He has been impressive. His OPS after being, his average and OPS have gone up 100 points each. Um, I think he's not long for San Jose. The way he's playing, it's possible they move him up now, but if he has another week like this, they're going to have to move him up. I mean, he's now played close to 40 to 50 games in San Jose, and he's shown enough, in my opinion, that he should be moving up. And this is between last season and this season. Number 10 prospect, Joe Whitman, pitched in 2 outings, 4.2 innings pitched in the first, 3 earned runs, 2 hits, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts through 84 pitches for 51 for strikes. Second outing, much more efficient, 4 innings pitched, no earned runs, 1 hit, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts through 62 pitches, 35 for strikes. So another guy, good fastball, slider, changeup. His changeup's actually really good in my opinion. Not quite Carson Whisenhunt good, but certainly kind of rivaling that. Definitely has a lot of potential, a lot of control kind of issues right now. That's why he's still down in San Jose. He's still having some pretty good results. I do think he is in high A by the end of the season, but I kind of expected him to blister through, similar to guys like Whisenhunt and Birdsong. I think he's got a little bit more command issues than those two guys, though, so it's going to probably hold him back a little bit. Number 25 prospect, Cole Foster, 6 for 16, a double, 3 walks, and 3 strikeouts. He's kind of gotten back going, back to kind of how he was playing earlier in the season. Number 28 prospect, Jonah Cox, continues to be far too good for A-ball. 9 for 25, double, walk, 4 stolen bases, 7 strikeouts. He's hitting 350 on the season with like 25 stolen bases. I mean, this guy needs to be in high A, but for whatever reason, they have not promoted him yet. They have started making some promotions, so I'm hoping he's kind of next on the list, along with a guy like Bryce Eldridge. And then number 29 prospect, Josh Bostic, 4.2 innings pitched, an earned run, 5 hits, walk, 6 strikeouts. Had a really good outing. Last couple bits before we get off of here. Wade Meckler has started his rehab in the ACL. Trevor McDonald has also started his rehab in the ACL. And then today on Monday, because I'm recording this on Monday, video will come out Tuesday. Walker Martin made his professional debut in the ACL, went 1 for 2 with a single up the middle. Rainer Arias is still not playing. He's dealing with a wrist sprain, so hopefully he'll be back soon. So other than that, that's all I have for today's episode. Thanks for everyone that stuck around. Hopefully, I think we're at like 483 subscribers. Hit the subscribe button. I want to get those live shows going. I'm looking forward to doing that. Looking forward to all the interaction with everyone. It's been a lot of fun. Catch me on NorCal Sports on Wednesday. Catch Dan and I on Thursday with our show. And then I'll probably post a couple of videos, in between there. But other than that, go Giants. And let's get a good road trip going. But we'll see you all next time.